The James Webb Space Telescope turned its mirrors toward a faint traveler from beyond the sun's dominion, and no one expected defiance. The object, designated 3I Atlas, did not merely pass through space, it unsettled the rules written by centuries of observation. Its light did not behave, its chemistry refused simplicity. What began as a routine survey became a moment that blurred the line between natural law and the unknown. Discovery came quietly on July 1, 2025. Automated surveys flagged an inbound body cutting through the solar system on an unbound path, its orbit revealing an origin outside every planetary family. The data arrived first as quiet fluctuations buried in the background, almost invisible in the flow of information. Webb's sensors captured the initial stream, emissions in wavelengths reserved for complex molecules. Nickel glimmered where water ice should have been. Cyanide and other exotic compounds glowed in spectral lines, alien to familiar comets. Each detection contradicted expectations of how frozen matter forms around distant stars, hinting at environments older and colder than the sun itself. This was the first glimmer of understanding, a sudden, intermittent reward of chemical clarity that only intensified the mystery of its presence. At first, this strangeness was treated as a calibration error. Teams compared instruments, rechecked baselines, and searched for mechanical noise. Some specialists concluded that the pulses belonged to the machinery, not the comet. They argued that sensors this sensitive can echo their own noise, creating harmonics that mimic an authentic signal. For a moment, the entire phenomenon was nearly dismissed, a near miss that could have buried the truth under a layer of technical skepticism. But the readings persisted. Cross-analysis from ground observatories confirmed that the object carried material signatures no solar comet had ever shown. The pattern held its timing across multiple rotations, resisting explanation through known cometary behavior. Instead of dismissing the anomaly, Webb's control center diverted observation time from deep field programs to focus entirely on this visitor. It was an institutional gamble that risked controversy, yet the uncompromising data justified the choice. This decision itself spoke louder than any official phrase to the independent researchers who had long suspected that institutional language hides discomfort. The data were real, the confusion was genuine. Then the rhythm appeared. Within near-infrared recordings lay precise pulses, repeated intervals of light fluctuation measured in perfect sequence. These rhythmic, narrow, and unwavering bursts arrived with mechanical accuracy.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
Nothing in known cometary physics predicts that kind of order. Analysts searched for instrumental interference, cosmic rays, or statistical coincidence, but none matched the consistency. The signal had order, and that order demanded immediate attention. The order was startling. Light curves mapped into geometric sequences that no random process reproduced. When observers extended measurements into secondary harmonics, new sub-patterns appeared, nested like coded harmonies inside larger beats. Each level followed ratios common in engineered systems, yet utterly absent from typical thermal emissions. Every confirmation deepened the divide between institutional caution and empirical clarity. Some researchers unofficially compared the modulation to machine telemetry or metabolic regularity, but officially, neither interpretation stood. The rhythm refused to vanish, even when partner institutions were instructed for independent verification. Each confirmed the pulse existed but differed on what it meant. This escalating complexity was the second intermittent reward, the gradual unveiling of facts that broadened the scope beyond chemistry into a potential new physics. The mystery was compounded by motion. Motion tracking revealed acceleration that defied pure gravitational modeling. 3I Atlas altered its speed as it approached the inner system, its trajectory adjusting in a way inconsistent with simple outgassing or solar radiation pressure. The variations were subtle but measurable. Webb's continuous monitoring recorded light curves shifting in synchronization with the mysterious pulses, as if energy output and momentum were linked. The object began to feel less like debris and more like behavior. When motion analysis was finalized, acceleration vectors revealed minor but repeatable variations precisely synchronous with pulse timing. Each surge in brightness coincided with micro-deviations in path, as though light and momentum were intrinsically coupled. Researchers ran statistical tests until the probability of chance approached zero. This numerical certainty brought a moment of intense vindication. The arrogance of established theory, the certainty that all celestial bodies must follow predictable Newtonian paths, fell to the patient observation of a traveler acting on its own principles. The evidence stood alone, unaltered by either skepticism or enthusiasm. Mars orbiters joined the watch. When the object's path grazed the Martian vicinity, instruments on several satellites captured complementary data. Spectrometers confirmed the same exotic elements and energy modulation seen by Webb. The combined data set gave a full portrait of an interstellar visitor wrapped in chemistry foreign to the solar inventory. This cyclic rituality of multi-institutional observation, the global community turning their eyes to the same point, became a continuous affirmation. Science at its purest form is collective humility before phenomena that refuse to conform. Each molecule told a story of birth in regions where metallic hydrogen and cryogenic compounds mingled under alien starlight. The deeper the analysis went, the further it pushed the boundary of the known. The comet seemed assembled from contradictions, metallic content of inner systems fused with ices from interstellar voids. It was a mosaic of elsewhere. For those who had spent careers classifying inert ice, this was an internal validation of intuition over formula, a quiet triumph for those who knew the cosmos was larger than the textbook. They belonged to the few who now saw clearly. Then came the impact event. Webb's high-resolution imaging recorded a collision between the comet and an unidentified fragment trailing its wake. The strike produced a brilliant plume of particulate matter stretching across millions of kilometers. This debris dispersed in arcs of silicate and metal vapor, painting faint streaks through the inner system. Observers called it a cosmic scar, evidence that the object carried structural instability or perhaps concealed forces within.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
The aftermath brightened the comet's halo and introduced new spectral lines that had no terrestrial analog. This event, seemingly chaotic, was a momentary overload of evidence, yet it contained the relief loop. The tension of the rhythm was momentarily broken by a physical event, which led to a surge of new, clarifying data. As the data multiplied, interpretation divided. Traditional astrophysicists focused on chemical models invoking primordial processes or interstellar radiation chemistry. Others emphasized that no model predicted rhythmic emission with this precision. Debate became polarized, though still bound by respect for evidence. The disagreement was not ideological, but existential. What happens when nature performs with intention's cadence? This very confusion became a form of honesty, proving the integrity of the process, not the ignorance of the scientists. Within laboratories, silence replaced certainty. The spectrographs continued to register nickel cyanide combinations that implied thermal histories beyond normal stellar ranges. Analysts traced potential formation zones in the galaxy's outer arms, yet even that explanation faltered when isotopic ratios failed to match predicted values. The universe had thrown a scarcity of explanation against a flood of contradictory evidence. As months passed, attention turned to pattern analysis. Mathematicians examined pulse intervals, seeking harmonics or coding properties. The distribution matched no known rotation dynamics or fragment shedding cycles. Yet the researchers remained disciplined, framing their conclusions within observation rather than speculation. The Webb team emphasized that unexplained does not equal unnatural, and yet the phrasing itself carried weight, the acknowledgement that absence of explanation holds its own gravity. Institutionally, caution matured into a form of public trust. NASA balanced openness with restraint. Press releases presented verified measurements but strictly avoided interpretation. Partner observatories replicated spectral findings, ensuring transparency while sidestepping conjecture. This collaboration symbolized science at its purest form, collective humility before phenomena that refused to conform. For a public weary of arrogance and overconfidence, this rare honesty felt restorative. The cosmos had reasserted authority, and the human response was listening rather than pronouncement. This was poetic justice in its purest form. Nature, not ideology, had restored balance by forcing an entire scientific community to concede the limits of its knowledge. In that humility lay vindication for those who had long argued that wonder begins where pride ends. The event reshaped scientific temperament. For decades, certainty dominated discourse. Now, caution regained dignity. Experts admitted discomfort without losing credibility. The rhythm of 3-eye Atlas, whatever its origin, became a symbol of disciplined curiosity, reminding humanity that silence between signals can be as instructive as the data themselves. The fear of the unknown was being calmed by the order of honest, patient investigation. Philosophically, the comet's behavior invited reflection on distance and kinship. It crossed from another star's nursery, carrying matter that predates human language. Yet it interacted with instruments built by human intent. That intersection of ancient dust and modern optics formed a bridge between epochs. To witness it was to realize that intelligence, natural or otherwise, is not possession but participation, the universe observing itself through transient minds. This was the identity binding. Viewers belong to the few who understand that the confusion is the frontier, and that uncertainty, when met with respect, becomes a form of order. As 3-eye Atlas receded from the inner system, its luminosity dimmed, but its implications brightened. The encounter demonstrated that even the most advanced technology cannot guarantee comprehension. Webb's instruments had peered into wavelengths never before used on a comet, revealing layers of structure that turned understanding inside out. What once seemed a frozen relic became a dynamic messenger, carrying information older than the solar system and perhaps coded in ways unimagined. As analysis continues, conclusions remain provisional. The debates endure not as conflict but as a continuation of inquiry. Each unanswered detail becomes an anchor for future missions, each hesitation a measure of integrity. The Webb team, once accused of secrecy, now stands as an example of transparency earned through restraint. Their patience transforms doubt into methodology, ensuring that belief follows evidence, not desire. The entire event became a massive, ongoing, open cycle, a final mystery left unresolved to drive future discovery. The legacy of 3-Eye Atlas may not rest in final explanation, but in the transformation of tone it imposed on science. The discovery reminded institutions that authority depends on honesty, that the cosmos corrects conceit without cruelty. Every unexplained pulse, every chemical trace, every deviation from gravitational law reinforces one message: reality remains larger than the frameworks built to contain it. As the comet fades into interstellar darkness, its lesson endures. Evidence need not comfort, yet it clarifies. The same telescope that once sought ancient galaxies now records humility in motion, a drifting shard reminding a restless species that truth does not fear scrutiny. In that calm realization, awe and understanding meet, and the noise of argument yields to the quiet rhythm of the universe continuing to speak. In the long perspective, the event reshaped expectation itself. The distinction between artifact and signal is rarely obvious. It is carved by persistence. Between skepticism and belief, a new clarity emerged. Truth does not hide behind institutions or ideology. It waits within measurements, patient, rhythmic, and real. In that continuity lies serenity, the understanding that wonder, when disciplined by evidence, needs no conclusion to be complete.